All right, folks, this video is about dumb gun laws in California, Oregon, and Washington, aka COW, and how Idaho gun laws are awesome and Idaho beats everyone, hands down. So here we go. Hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, tap the notifications bell. That'll keep you up to date on all of our latest content. Our real estate team, mostly first responders and veterans, we get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you trying to learn more about North Idaho. So if you're looking to move right now or 12 months from now, doesn't matter. Give us a call, text, or email. Let's get that conversation started.
Third time's a charm. Nice work,
yes!
Seth.
I did it. First responders and veterans is, I forgot what I said.
You didn't start that over, or you just leave it?
I didn't start it over. Help you make that smooth move right here in North Idaho. I fucked that up too.
Oh, let's talk about dumb gun laws.
All right, hey, you may or may not know this already, but Idaho is one of the freest states in the country when it comes to guns. Thank you, Lord. We love it that way. Second Amendment is alive and well. You look like
I would argue to say we're not one of the freest states. We're just one of the states that follows the freaking Constitution.
Oh, good point, dude.
We just follow the laws that we put in place originally.
Yeah, okay, good point.
There you go.
That's the way it should be, yeah. So we are the strictest, one of the strictest when it comes to following the Constitution. There we go.
Booyah, we're one of the strictest states. Yeah. I love it.
Idaho has some amazing gun laws. If you love to shoot like we do, then this might be the place for you. We're going to break down some of the dumb gun laws in California, Oregon, and Washington. We don't like to say those names up here, but that's what it is. So,
and if you don't like guns, we'd encourage you to continue to watch just for the fun of it.
good point. Maybe you'll learn something.
Please.
Maybe you realize we're not all that bad.
Or we are.
Or we are.
One of the two.
All right, hey, let's jump into California. You know, I lived there in the past. Dave lived there in the past, so we can speak on this. I was a cop in California too, so I won't get into that. Somebody get mad at me. I was gonna say arrested a few people for illegal gun stuff, but you'll be out there and you'll be like, yeah, that's a constitutional right. You're right, so you're not wrong. Sorry if I pissed you off with that, but that's the reality of it. You often do what you're told in that job. So California, some of the worst gun laws out there. I found this very frustrating when I worked there. For example, so I was a California Highway Patrol. I carried an AR-15 in my car right next to me all day, every day working. I was not allowed to own that same rifle. I still had to follow the law because our commissioner would not sign off on a letter to allow off-duty CHP officers to have an AR-15 without the stupid modifications that they require.
Like a bullet button.
Like a bullet button. So, pretty dumb, in my opinion, when I carried all day and I'm qualified to use it, blah, 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 and I'm still not allowed to own it. So the assault weapon restrictions are absolutely asinine, in my opinion.
They are asinine, and you know what it does? When you put restrictions in place that don't make sense, like putting a bullet button on a gun, that is... It encourages people to find ways around it. That's all it does, is it encourages people to break the law, right? Now, we put certain laws in effect, and we allow, we go, okay, well, if you break this law, and certainly people try to get around the law, but you have to make sure you're putting it into a place that it's actually going to prevent only the people that are going to be the problem, that are going to be the felons, that are going to be the people that are going to hurt somebody else, so that you're not now fining and, getting all these people in trouble that are actually good people. They want to go shoot their gun, and now they can't do it.
Are you saying that criminals don't obey these laws?
Right. It's crazy.
No way.
Non-criminals are getting tickets and getting cited and getting, sentenced and everything else because they want to modify their guns. They want to go shoot, and they're not the problem.
Wow. Yeah, so assault weapons, you've got your bullet buttons. It's been a while since I've lived there and worked there, so I'm not even sure what iteration we're on. But if you see a California legal assault rifle, it looks like some kind of Frankenstein gun. It's hideous. And in reality, what are we doing here? You're not saving thousands of lives. Criminals are still going to go get those guns. You can be just as lethal with a pump action shotgun as you could with an AR-15.
100%.
So, obviously, if you're listening to this channel, it's stupid and asinine. Next one up. Okay, this is another one. This is going to be a common theme with these states, right? These magazine capacity limits. 10 rounds is the going rate, I believe. So I'm sure that's out saving lots of lives.
You're allowed to kill 10 people, but not 15.
Well, then, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you are allowed to go hurt somebody with it, but not that many people.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I don't know if I can think of I don't want to use the word terrorist attack, but some sort of attack like that where somebody was like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it abiding the law. And I'm going to bring a 10-round magazine.
Right.
Because that's all I'm allowed to bring.
I mean,
right?
Yeah. Makes total sense. Okay, next up, background check for ammo purchase. I'm pretty sure that you are limited to the amount of ammunition that you can buy per month. That is an absolute blatant violation of the Constitution. So I'm not sure how that even happens, but that's the reality of it. I know people will drive out of state. I may or may not know some family members that have done that recently and purchase ammunition in free states like Idaho and then take it back home because it's so dumb that you can't just go out and buy ammo in whatever amount that you want because that's your damn personal business.
Absolutely.
All right, Oregon. Yeah. Once again, kind of dumb. All of it. I'm seeing a theme here on the liberal policies and the states involved. So I get it. They are emotionally driven and they want to solve, active shooter problems. And
and so here's the problem. Here's where I'm going to go off on a tangent. They're not trying to solve that problem. They're trying to create the identity. They want to come across that they're going to be able to solve this, right? You can't solve it.
Well, certainly not like that.
You can't. No. And the truth is, the Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms. They are here to stay. People say like, oh, Hillary Clinton was going to come and take over. No, she's not. No, she's not. Nobody can. That's why this country has not been invaded directly. Indirectly,
there's a rifle behind every blade of grass.
Right? Yep. Yeah, you don't go kick open a door if you're invading the U.S. because people have arms. That is the army of the people. They're not going anywhere. But this creates that process where these liberal states think, oh, we're making it safer. But if you look at the crimes with those guns, look at the states that have the highest crimes. They're all those states that make those restrictions to make it safer.
Yeah. Do you know what the crime rate is in Idaho? Pretty damn low. Yeah. Like Dave said, you kick a door in Idaho, you're probably going to get shot in the face. So that's a bad day for a bad guy.
Pretty blunt.
Sorry. You know what?
Pretty true.
These people don't mind. Oregon. So Measure 114. I don't exactly know what that is, but it's talking about permits for ownership of firearms. Anytime the government gets involved in things, it becomes bloated and slow and difficult to deal with. So that's probably one of those examples where you're dealing with just creating problems and bureaucracy for no reason. Magazine capacity limits, also 10 rounds. We touched on this with California, right? You're not keeping bad guys from buying more than 10-round magazines.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. So you're limiting the ability of law-abiding citizens to defend themselves, and that just pisses me off.
So here's another one, safe storage laws. So there's so much emphasis put on, safe storage, even within private homes, that there are restrictions. You have to have certain locks on your guns and everything else. What they're not doing is turning around and putting that same money instead of that legislation, encouraging people to get educated on guns. My kids, when they were younger, I used to take my firearm. Okay, some people are gonna be like, I can't believe you do this. I'd take my firearm, I'd clear it. There'd be no bullets in it. Let me say that. Okay, I would go lay it in their bedroom. They had been taught, if you see a gun laying around, you don't touch it. You come get mom or dad. You let us know, right? We started with the basics of like, hey, this can be dangerous, right? If you don't understand it. And then I would put it in the room. And sure enough, my kids come running out like, Dad, there's a gun in my room. I'm like, oh my goodness.
How did that get there?
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Good job. And it was like that reinforcement. They started seeing that. And then the same thing when you take them out. Why are we not educating as opposed to saying, you have to lock it up safe so that your kids can't get it? Why not educate your kids that, hey, this is not only a tool, but one that can be dangerous if misused. And let me teach you the right way to handle it, to use it, when to use it, how to understand it. The people that get hurt with guns don't understand guns.
Yeah, this is a classic, like you create a mystery around something, kids are gonna want to know what it is. That's why, like from a young age, when my kids are like, can I try your beer? I'm like, yeah, have a sip, right? Like, I don't want it to be a huge mystery, so by the time you're 18, you're like, I'm just gonna get hammered. That's what I did when I was a kid, but look where it got me. All right, so all right, moving on. Let's go to Washington. Washington is the neighboring state to Idaho, so we have a lot of crossover, right? We are in Coeur d'Alene. We are 25, 30 miles from the border.
We are 15 miles.
Excuse me, minutes. Yes, minutes. Excuse me.
We are right there.
Thank you for correcting me now, so someone didn't have to correct me later on the comments.
Perfect.
It hurts me. So don't leave nasty comments, please. Anyway, so Washington's just a shit show right now when it comes to guns. you know, obviously you have the magazine capacity bans, right? Did they? Yeah, semi-auto rifles. There's a
Even
lot
for
going on
hunting.
with it. Yeah, they're restricting the age to be able to purchase one. I should have dug into that a little more, because someone drop a comment on there on exactly what's going on with semi-auto rifles, because I think they're trying to get rid of them altogether. You know, you can make a pretty cool lever action. I do want a lever. I'm going to buy a lever action 4570. That's my next gun. You can make them cool, but you know, I can't not wrap my brain around restricting semi-auto rifles.
You know what? There's a belief, you know, I hear this all the time. People say, hey, they go, an AR rifle is not a hunting rifle. And I'm like, no, it's
Does
not a
anyone
hunting
disagree
rifle.
with that?
Yeah, it's not a hunting rifle. In fact, when the Constitution was put together in the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms, this was, we were not, people think, oh, guns are for hunting. No, they weren't. They were actually put in place. I'm going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Get it.
They were put there to kill other people. I'm just being honest. If you want to beat around the bush on it, that is what they were there for. They were there for self-defense, right? That's why guns are being used. That's why they're in the Second Amendment. So yes, an AR rifle is not a hunting rifle. It is a personal protection weapon. That is what it is for. It is 100% a weapon. So let's not beat around the bush around it.
Yeah, it's very good at that. Yes, you can hunt with it, but obviously, the initial purpose is something else. Not that we do not disagree with that. We're just saying that's what it is. So the magazine ban, you know, I know a lot of people are coming over from Washington to buy magazines in Idaho. That is a very common practice. It is not illegal to sell a magazine to a Washington resident. If you're a gun shop in Idaho, if you're watching this and you're in the northern Washington region, the closest gun shop is going to be our buddy BZ of our North Idaho Arms. He has tons of ammo and magazines in stock. That's where I buy my guns and stuff. So he's a good dude. He will school you up on all the laws and regulations because he knows them in and out. So totally legal to do that. What you do after you purchase it, that's up to you. So those are kind of the Washington laws here. You know, they're so restrictive and dumb, and they're getting worse. The big one I see coming, I don't know if it's passed yet. It may by the time this video goes out. They are trying to tax ammunition in Washington at an enormous rate. I want to say it's between 11% or 20%. It's something stupid. And right, they're trying to tax ammunition out of existence up there, and that's their plan. The dumb thing is that you can just jump over the border to Idaho and purchase it at a reasonable rate. So we should probably stock up on ammo and then sell it.
Yeah, jeez. But you know what? That's not going to stop the sale. If you wanted to stop the sale, you'd make it illegal. If you want to make a bunch of money off of it,
well, no, that would
then
just stop the sale with law-abiding citizens.
Right. And that's what's so frustrating, man. I get so mad when people look at guns and they think, well, you shouldn't have something to hurt another person. Well, it's not that you have the intent to go hurt somebody, but I do have the intent to protect myself at all costs.
Yes.
And, you know, when people do that, that is the reason it's there. And to be able to do that effectively and to do it the right way, you have to be able to buy ammunition. You have to be able to train. You have to be able to practice. You have to be comfortable with those things.
Right.
So when people look at it and say, well, I mean, this guy goes shooting every weekend, that's probably the safer person, right? Somebody that's familiar with their gun, goes out and does those things. So restricting ammo and doing that stuff, you're just causing worse shooters to exist.
Oh, sure. That's a good way to look at it. What's that quote? God made man, Sam Colt made him equal, something like that. And there's truth to that, right? My 115-pound wife is not going to go fight off a 300-pound dude. I don't care if she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That size difference is too much. Yeah. So you need an equalizer, and sometimes that's going to be a firearm. That's probably going to be your best bet, because as we know, pepper spray doesn't work all the time either.
And you know what? That is something. It's a mental thing.
Yeah.
When you come over to Idaho and you know, hey, you know what? I'm going to go take something from somebody. Well, there's a good possibility they're carrying a firearm. It makes people second guess what they're going to do. When you go into a city like Chicago, where guns are illegal, and you're like, I'm going to go take something from somebody, the chances of somebody being able to defend themselves is pretty low.
Yeah. What's your famous line? An armed society is
a polite society.
Accurate. That is the case, and you'll find in North Idaho, everybody is very nice over here.
That was William Kirk.
Really?
That said that, yeah. An armed society is a polite society.
Well, I've been using it all the time, so thanks. Idaho is a constitutional carry state, which means you are allowed to carry a firearm, concealed or not, anywhere on your person, in your vehicle. You do not need a permit.
Whether you live here or not.
Yes, true. So you might come from out of state, and if you are legally allowed to carry a firearm where you're at, which means you're not a prohibited person, then you can legally carry a firearm in Idaho, which is pretty damn cool. You would think you'd see a lot more open open carrying up here. You generally don't. You'll see a little bit here and there.
People don't flaunt it.
No, which I agree with. I prefer to keep it concealed and just, you know, it's there. People probably know it's there, but you know, you're not flaunting it.
Yep.
But if you do choose to open carry, go for it, man. Like, I think that's good to go too.
If you're the guy riding around on the motorcycle that we saw a couple months back with the AR on your back, like, maybe not necessary, but really cool.
Bonus points for style, bro.
Yeah, really cool.
That shit was the only thing cooler is if you had like a katana on your back. That might be cooler too. Totally legit and legal in Idaho. There's a big focus on personal responsibility up here, right? We have a strong culture of firearms, whether it be hunting or sporting. It's all here. You go to the gun ranges out here, they're popular. People are up there shooting. You'll go to Fernan Gun Club on the weekend and you'll see families out shooting together, and that is cool. I love it. The kids are out there doing their thing. The Idaho also, for example, you can own short barrel rifles, you can own suppressors, all of the good stuff. Why any of that is regulated, I don't know. A rifle is actually more lethal when it's longer, right? It's going to be more accurate, higher velocity generally. And suppressors are really good for not destroying your ears. They do not make you an assassin immediately. That's a common misconception.
Yeah.
So, and I should add, to buy those up here, you do still need a federal tax stamp, unfortunately, but you can legally possess them if you go through those hoops.
But they also have, I mean, North Idaho Arms has that kiosk there.
Yeah, you did it. How quick was that?
I had mine in a week and a half.
That's crazy.
It was awesome. Yeah.
So great things up here. You know, we touched on lower crime rates. That is an absolute fact up here. We have lots of contacts in the police department. Dave was a Coeur d'Alene police officer for a while. So, you know, that is a proven thing. People that are moving up here, they often ask us, hey, is this a good neighborhood? Is that a good neighborhood? And I'm like, honestly, it's like they're all good neighborhoods. There's no like South Side. You know, if you worked in law enforcement, you know what I'm talking about. The South Side, it's always a shithole. Sorry if you live in the South Side and it's nice.
Well, you know, honestly, we the reason we bring this up is because we are vastly different than a lot of these states, the cow especially. And, you know, we live in an area that I would say that I probably feel safer up here than I did when I lived in my previous hometown. Yeah. And there's a lot less people there too, and we were out in the middle of nowhere. But I felt a lot safer up here. And a lot of it is the policies and everything else, especially the gun laws. And I think people that have not been accustomed to that, you know, it was weird when people come up here and you come from a state where you can't open carry, and then you go to Costco here and you see somebody filling up their tank and they got a gun on the side, and immediately you want to withdraw. You're like, oh my gosh, that's normal life up here. And it's funny because it seems to work just fine. Yeah. So we will tell you, if you are looking in to move to North Idaho, give us a call, text, email. Like Seth said, if you're looking to move now or 12 months from now, we'd love to talk to you. If you want to know more about gun shops up here, some of the ammo manufacturers, G9 Ammo is fantastic. There's a lot of stuff that we'd love to get you in tune with. And, you know, if it's not buying a house, that's fine. We'd love the opportunity to earn your business, but we'd also love to help you learn about North Idaho and see if it's the right place or the wrong place for you.
Thanks.